Hi everyone, I'm back at it. I'm baking today and I was asked if I could show you guys how to make vanilla cake. So here we go. To start with, I have got butter and sugar in my KitchenAid. I'm going to mix it and cream this together. It's going to get a little bit paler than it is. And as we get together here, this will be the first step. Now, not everybody does their cake this way, but I do. If you want this recipe, it will be in my cookbook. If not, I can point you in the direction of other ones. So while that's mixing, sorry, I know it's a little bit loud. That can just mix for a minute. And I do the creaming method, or reverse creaming. I forget exactly what it's called. I cream my butter and sugar together. Typically in a cake recipe, you'll see they do all of the dry ingredients and then all of the wet ingredients. With butter, it can get a little tricky because it can have a hard time incorporating. So I do it this way. I do the butter and sugar first, almost like a cookie batter. And then I add in the eggs, and then I alternate the flour mixture with the liquid. So I'll keep showing you how I do it and how it should look. And let me go ahead and turn you around here and you can see what's going on in the KitchenAid. As it comes together, you might need to scrape your bowl. Yes, my butter is room temperature, but it's like a firm room temperature. So we'll want to go ahead and scrape this and keep mixing until it is all combined and not separated like it is right now. Alright, as you can see, I have it all combined here. And when you kind of like work through it or look through it, you'll see that there's no butter streaks, there's no sugar spots. It's all just cohesive and into one piece. Now, like I said, my room temperature was a little firm today. If this happens to you, don't worry. You can always warm up your butter a little more, but this consistency will still work. You can see it's in the room temperature butter. It was not necessarily hard, because it mixed so quickly. You don't want it hard, you want it room temperature. So I have my eggs in, and now I'm going to add in my vanilla. And the really nice thing about this recipe is that it is incredibly versatile. I'm actually going to be dividing this and flavoring it into a second flavor besides vanilla. So we will get this mixed. You do not want to whip it, you don't want to beat it, you just want to mix it gently on low until it's combined. Over whipping the eggs can cause a lot of problems later on. Here we are coming together. You can see there are little bits of the butter that maybe did not blend all the way, but that's okay. It's not hard. And that would be a difference here. If the butter was hard and not mixing, then we'd have issues. This will continue to blend together as we add in the flour and dry mixture, okay? And this also can be a symptom of things not being at room temperature. I should have warmed my eggs a little bit. If you're ever baking and something isn't quite room temperature, my eggs also, like I said, it's kind of cool in here today. I'm not even at 70 degrees in my kitchen, so that's probably why. If that happens, you can microwave your butter for like 5 seconds just to make it softer. Not melted, but softer. With your eggs, while you're preheating your oven, stick them on like the top rack for like a minute. You don't want to cook them. You can do it for like a minute just to warm them up. Again, you want all this to be able to emulsify, and so having it a little less than room temperature right now, it's okay. You just want to make sure if this happens like I am that you don't end up over mixing it. So I'll be super cautious on that end, but to avoid all that in the future, a warmer room temperature or softening and getting your things warmer, you doing it versus the room. So that's what we're working at, but I promise this totally is fine. Honestly, is like not bad at all. It's not curdled, nothing's gone bad or sour in the last 3 seconds. That's not what this is. So if you see this, do not worry and do not be afraid, okay? Right here, before I add in the dry mixture, I'm going to add in my oil. Now, I don't do very much oil, but butter and oil add different types of moisture. And so we need just a smidgen to make sure that this doesn't dry out. Something that's all butter may feel drier than something that has a combination of oil and butter. So here I have the first part of my dry ingredients. I scraped the bowl after adding the oil, and now I've got the dry ingredients going. And again, I'm mixing it on low. You do not want to be whipping or beating this recipe in particular. As it starts to come together, then now is the time I will start adding my wet ingredients, my milk. And see how nice that is? It's coming together. See, it is smoothed out since that beginning stage with the butter and the sugar. So this is where you don't have to worry too much. Like I said, my stuff was room temperature. It was just a little on the firm side. And at this point, it has all caught itself up. Now, the big secret for the liquid that I use, evaporated milk. The reason I use this, A, it's already at room temperature. B, the fat content is a third kind of fat. This is another, well, I guess it's similar to milk, to butter. It's just another kind of fat. It's going to add more moisture. It's going to make it a super fine, fluffy crumble. So your cake is going to be amazing. If you haven't ever tried evaporated milk, and don't get fat-free, but if you haven't, try it instead of regular milk. All right, I scraped my sides down, and here I go, adding that evaporated milk. Yay, so good. Add it slowly. I'm not having a huge stream come out. It's going to start coming together. I'm going to go ahead and do this whole can. It's 12 ounces or a cup and a half. You can kind of see there, it's wanting to stick on the sides a little and not combine, so we'll scrape that down. Get all this milk in. And let's look at the batter so you can kind of see. First of all, we need to scrape. You can see we need to scrape. See that? Again, because my stuff is not perfectly room temperature, I'd say warmer than 72 degrees. It is not curdled. It has just separated a little bit. Once I put in the rest of the flour, it will all come back together. Do not worry. Do not fear if you ever see this. This is just how it's going to work for today. And as I scrape all this and continue to work on it, it'll all become more cohesive. So don't even worry, but I'll show you here in a sec what the batter should look like. Here's that final bout of dry mixture, and it is coming together really nicely. And you're just going to mix it until it's smooth. You will want to scrape down the sides of your bowls so that you get everything mixed in. But look at this. It's so beautiful, you guys. That's all it took, was just that little bit of flour to get everything to recombine, to get our ratios back to how they should be. So if you see that happening and you haven't added all your flour or you haven't added all your liquids, just wait until you're done to check out your batter. It will be super smooth. It will not appear broken anymore. And it's all just getting the ratios right and getting it all to emulsify. So I'm going to get this bowl scraped down and I will show you how I prep everything for, I'm doing cupcakes today, but it's a similar process for a cake as well. Alright, so I'm going to take my beautiful batter. I have cupcakes lined over here, and you heard me mention that this batter is extremely versatile, and here's how. These with the graham cracker on the bottom are going to be cherry cheesecake cupcakes. I'll put vanilla batter on top. These here, as well as another batch, are going to be churro, which means I can really get some good flavoring in on the frostings. The scoop is just slightly over the top. I don't go completely flat. Going completely flat is not quite enough batter to do a cupcake. It will come out way too flat. So just slightly over the top. And this red handle, again, it is a standard size for baking. If you go to a Baker's Supply or if you look like on Amazon, I can try to find it on Amazon. I haven't checked yet for you. I'll put a link, but I got this at a restaurant supply store, and the handle colors, if you ever go, look for the red handle. It's like the perfect amount. And I've tried measuring it, and it comes out to a really bizarre amount because it's like not a quarter of a cup, but it's more, it's like 2 tablespoons plus 2 teaspoons. I don't know. It's just a weird amount. Like I said, getting it right there, and that is exactly how full you want them to be. Any more than that, and they overfill, and less than that, they won't even come up to the edge, and you want them to at least be hitting the edge. They don't have to be domed like muffins, but they should be at least flat and to the top of the liner paper. You've got a lot of batter. If you want to make this into a cake, this is the perfect amount for like 2 round, like 8 or 9 inch pans, or it could be a sheet cake, or it does a few dozen cupcakes. So it's amazing. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have any requests on what you want to see me bake, let me know. I'm happy to do that for you. This was totally a request, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. That's awesome. So that's what I'm up to today. I can show you maybe at the end some pictures of how they all turned out. If you want this exact recipe, so you can be like, oh yeah, I'll do what Rachel did, it will be in my cookbook. There are some links below. As soon as I have a link for the cookbook, I'll put that. Right now, there's just the Patreon link for a pre-order. I can also point you in the direction of similar recipes, if that works for you. So, any questions, let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have an awesome day.